everyone, thank you for joining us today as we're launching a new event series called AI for Business. Everybody's talking about AI, many have tried it, but only a few have achieved real business benefits with it. The purpose of our events is to uncover those practical use cases that you can implement at your own company. For that, we invite the leading AI experts to help us to share their experience. My name is Sem Sergunin. I'm a co-founder and CEO of RPA Master, and our first guest is Maxime Vermeir, who is a senior director of AI strategy at ABBYY. Welcome to the show, Max. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Sim. Thanks for having me. Really glad to be here, obviously. So, as you already said, I'm the senior director for AI strategy at ABBYY. I've been working at ABBYY for about 7 years. And my whole focus is really helping our customers find the right path on their journey to leverage artificial intelligence to really transform their businesses. And I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with you today to kind of uncover a bit of that and explain to the great audience that you've gathered here today to really learn about how we're doing that for them.
Thank you for the introduction, Max. So happy to have you here. And for our audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. To start our today's conversation, Max, is the AI revolution really happening right now, or is it just a short-term hype?
Well, that's a really interesting question, and I don't like to think in terms of hype. I think what we're seeing today is yet another platform shift. The technology world works in platform shifts. Every 10 to 15 years, we have another platform shift. We had a one with mainframes. We then went to personal computers, the web, open source, smartphone, cloud, and now there's AI. And I think that definitely that one was spurred on this platform shift. It happened. The wave was created by generative AI specifically. But AI has been around for much longer than just a lot of the newsworthy articles that came out about ChatGPT and others, and now that kind of almost like a space race that's happening. AI has been around for much longer than that, and it's a really interesting, I would say, journey that we've been on the last couple of months of the market, the people, the users, to really start to understand, hey, okay, what exactly is this technology? How much of this technology is out there? And what can I really do with it? Because within every single platform shift, you also have the different stages of that platform shift, which is also an S curve, that the technology goes from being asked, okay, why is this useful, right? What can I actually do with this new technology? To actually being really exciting, to then ending up in the boring stage. So if you look at it, machine learning, which is part of AI, has already been around in a very, the last couple of years. And it's actually in a lot of different places you might not expect it to be. But just like with everything else, just like with the smartphone, where we had, the very first Nokia communicator, this huge thing with buttons on it, how that moved from being asked about, well, why is this useful? What do I do with it? To the iPhone, which got everybody really excited. People were lining up outside, to now the latest iPhone, which is another amazing advancement. Nonetheless, there's no more lines outside the Apple stores, right? So the same thing is happening with artificial intelligence, and it depends on which part of it that you're looking at that really allows you to have that kind of insight as to where we are in terms of adoption, in also the understanding that is right now within the market. If you take machine learning, for example, and even the more specific image segmentation or object detection, whatever name you want to call it, of machine learning, that initially, as its first kind of proof of concept introduction into the world, was the difference between a cat and a dog in an image. So a lot of people were asking the question, why is this useful? What can I do with this? Well, that same technology today is really helping helping Teslas, helping other cars, Waymos, drive by themselves. Every single car today has lane guidance. That is that same technology that's working. And when we're talking about generative AI, there we are right at that kind of intersection of why is this useful? And it's going to get really exciting in the next couple of months and years. And I think that's the natural journey that people have to go on to really understand the technology first, to then ask that very pertinent question, why is this useful? What do we do with this? Before it gets really exciting. And that's where we're going to see this really massive platform shift, in the sense that we're all going to be working very differently in the next couple of years. thanks to that technology, with everything else that has to do with technology, right? But nonetheless, coming back to my earlier point, AI has been around for a very long time. There's really exciting things that you can already do today, especially within the business world.
Well, if AI causes this major platform shift, what does it mean for businesses? Can you give us a few examples of something that we can do right now with AI, which was not possible only 2, 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think the main shift that has already happened is also that AI technology has something that anybody can really work with, right? It used to be very complex. It was a task for data scientists to work with machine learning. Today, thanks to low code, no code, and that whole evolution, which has also happened just before this one, has allowed people to really get their hands on very complex technology. Like, say, for example, the technology from ABBYY, giving your programs, giving your technology, basically your products, the ability to see what and understand what is on documents, and not just that, but also to see and understand and improve on your processes. That is incredible. So the document AI, the process AI, that is something that you can leverage today that will help you get started on that journey. And just to give you an example of what that could look like, right? So we have a customer in the transportation logistics industry that is really impacted or was impacted by the fact that due to Brexit, they had so much more paperwork to deal with when it came to the customs declaration process. Right now, to import export goods from the UK into Europe, that's much more cumbersome. And the thing is, they had to deal with actually fast moving consumer goods. They had to deal with food, and in this case, particularly, really delicious pastries. Now, thanks to applying our purpose built AI onto that particular process, giving them the possibility to quickly get all the information they need out of the customs documents, whatever kind of customs document it is, that allowed them to really speed up their customs clearance process by over 90%. That is a massive shift. And that really personifies just how amazing the technology is already today that artificial intelligence can help you with and really make a very positive impact on your businesses.
Oh, I like it. 90% faster customer clearance and fresh cookies delivered, and all thanks to Document AI. That's impressive. I also got an impression that was implemented for a mid-sized company, right? One of the things that we are especially excited about at RPA Master is helping smaller businesses and mid-sized companies automate. And do you think that the current development in AI really makes automation more accessible for these smaller companies?
Oh, for sure. So we see our technology being applied across, the entire board, going from smaller businesses to medium-sized enterprises to really large enterprises. And that's because the technology today is really able to address so many different use cases out of the box. And that's also been, something that is going to continue evolving over the next couple of years, that more and more use cases are just there for you to start using straight away. Because it used to take a lot of effort, specialized processes, specialized people to set this technology up, because it's now evolved into something that is so accessible that also makes, your internal investment, as well as the ability to just leverage it and even give it into the hands of your employees, something that's incredibly powerful. Abby actually did a recent State of Intelligent Automation report survey that revealed that in 62% of organizations, investing in AI automation actually showed increased employee happiness. And that, because, and that's actually quite straightforward, because AI allows you to do something that we do a lot faster, a lot easier, and then we don't have to do repetitive tasks anymore. So in doing so, having happier employees also then turned into that 80% of those businesses that implemented that kind of intelligent automation or artificial intelligence said that their customer service improved, because their customers, their employees, can focus on the customers, which is really what it's all about in the end. So I would say, and that is absolutely true for any kind of business, because that is the thing that sets businesses apart these days, right? Everybody can kind of have a similar product. It's how you approach your customers and what kind of service that you deliver that really sets you apart.
Well, I'm sure many companies would love to have this 80% better customer service and happier employees at the same time. And Max, can you please elaborate a little bit on how AI works in customer service?
Yeah, so for customer service, it's really interesting to see. So we actually just had a really great example provided to us from one of our teams from Australia and New Zealand. And what they had put together is by combining our technology in a customer service oriented use case, they showed that as feedback was coming in from customers, we can very quickly visualize that. Now, of course, we do that by incorporating the emails, any kind of documents, surveys, all of that information is being gathered and automatically the data is getting extracted from that. So we're doing that interpretation of that information, of those documents, those emails, whatever it is. But then, of course, the really cool next step that really shows the power of artificial intelligence is that we're going to look at all those touch points with our customers across the board, across all different channels. And then we're going to use our process AI with timeline to actually visualize how that's happening and where the customer is in their journey. Now, the best part is that with artificial intelligence, you can start to forecast when this customer is either going to be either very happy or very unhappy. And before they get to that stage, you can actually take automated action, right? The self-healing enterprise is something that a lot of customers would love to have, or well, our customers are working towards to actually implement that. So even before in that customer service oriented use case, the customer becomes unhappy, we see that their sentiment is declining, we can take preventive action and start interacting with them in a very different way. So that's all because we have the ability now to really encompass and understand all of that information that is being provided to us, to understand their sentiments, and then visualizing that, but not just visualizing, but actually looking at and almost predicting the future of what's going to happen and just kind of deviating from that path, putting it back into the right track.
Wow, even if now AI helps us do all those things and even predict and address issues before they happen, what should we expect in the future? Let's say in 5 years from now.
So, like I said, in this platform shift, what is fundamentally going to change is that this technology will become even more accessible. I often compare it. I don't know, Sam, if you ever saw the TV show Knight Rider, where you had this really cool car with the laser in front, and had his, Michael Knight, which was going to be the driver, and that was basically the very first co-pilot that was shown on television. But the great thing was is that this AI was able to reason and think about how to find the right solution. And I think that is definitely what we're going to continue to see in the next 5 years, is that this technology will continue to evolve. It will permeate into every single kind of application product that we're using today. And it will be there to assist you. It will be there to help you be more successful. And that's what's really going to continue to change. And because of that, there will be even further ability to really harness all of this great capability. Like, for example, from our products as well, when we're talking about IDP, when we're talking about process mining, then all of this is going to be even easier to use, which means it will be even easier to implement for our customers, which will make them more successful. And it's going to be important for a lot of companies to really invest in helping their employees mature in the usage of this technology, because this is again going to be a differentiator, and you either get on board or you're not going to get on board. But usually when you don't get on board with technology, you tend to be getting left behind. So that's definitely one of those things. And then of course, a little bit more sci-fi, still very close to reality, is that the innovators in this space will continue to work on getting to that point where we really have general intelligence. I think that would be a really great achievement in our times to experience, right? Just like people experienced the first walk on Mars. I think that's going to be the same level kind of event when we actually get there, and that's what we're all working towards.
Okay, so we should expect better technology, more use cases, and potentially even general intelligence. And as a business leader, how would I make sure that I'm ready for this future? And my company also will be still relevant in 5 years in this new AI world.
So I think the right thing to do to start on this AI journey is to really look into everything that you are able to do already today. Like we talked about at the beginning, there's already so much technology that you can leverage today when it comes to really getting all the data from your organization organized through using document AI, which is, like for example, with our Vantage product or Flexi Capture, which I know you know quite well. And so that's a really great start, because data is going to be the fuel for your further AI journey, right? And then there's the other component, which is definitely the process. You have to understand how your business works today so you can look into transforming it for tomorrow. So those two steps really, for me, are the foundation for everything else that you want to then build on top, to get you to that point that you're going to be able to leverage everything that's going to be great and cool and that's coming out in the next couple of years. Those are the two things you're going to need to implement those successfully. Because I don't know if you know this, but for example, in a recent study in Forbes, they found that 90% of companies have tried to implement and pilot generative AI, purely that specific tool, actually are not going into production. So that's a massive amount. And one of the reasons is that they said, well, it was the wrong technology to apply to the use case that we were trying to solve for. So that's why it's important to start at that beginning of that journey. And that's understanding your data, understanding your documents, understanding your processes. And then you'll be able to have a really great foundation to continue on and start building on top of that.
Understanding data, understanding document, understanding processes. So Max, if I hear you correctly, your recommendation is not try to follow the hype, but instead focus on real business issues and address them with proven AI intelligent technology. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you're absolutely spot on there. The best advice that I can give is look at a vendor's proven use cases, customer use cases, see how they've already applied AI to really solve for certain problems, like that example I gave about the pastries, fast consumer goods, 90% better than they had before. Those are the kind of numbers that you want to be looking for when you're talking to any AI vendor that's out there, to see if their technology can really help you make that difference. And that's going to be, one of the things that will help you be more successful. And the nice thing is that, this is why we're really talking about our purpose built AI, which is really important, because there we are really trying to make a difference in the business world, that the customers can immediately see the type of value that we bring. Another reason that was in that report from Forbes about generative AI, well, it talked about accuracy and consistency. Well, we have a really great customer example with the FDA, specifically in the US, where we have 99.5% accuracy, right? Which is almost 100. That's incredible. And at the same time, the other factor that came out of that report was that it was really hard to prove the ROI. You just heard about the story about the fast consumer goods, the pastries. We have a similar thing with Carlsberg, everybody's favorite beer, or at least some people, we don't want to call everybody out. But nonetheless, we are saving them 140 hours every single week with a process in terms of the purchase orders processing for all across the world. So these are real numbers, these are real facts, and this is what every single business that's listening to this, lovely conversation that we're having today can achieve as well, by applying AI technology today at the start of their journey.
Thank you, Max. I think those are very reasonable and practical recommendations. Don't get too excited about new shiny technology. Focus on your business, focus on your customers, focus on real issues that you can address with practical, existing, proven AI technology. And that's the right path into the future. Thank you, Max, for being with us, for sharing your expertise.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
And for our audience, please follow RPA Master, participate in our future events. And if you want to share your own AI or intelligent automation story, please feel free to reach out to us at contact@rpamaster.com. Thank you very much and see you soon.